Shalom, shalom, friends. Did you know that Yeshua, the Christ, is our Passover, is our Lamb, the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world? Genesis 22, verse 8 says, "And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together." Now, this scripture, if you read the entire chapter of Genesis 22, you'll get to understand that Abram was about to sacrifice his son, but God provided a ram in the thicket. Now, Abram mentioned that God himself will provide a lamb, but what was caught in the thicket was a ram. Now, the Hebrew word for lamb is seh, S-E-H, seh. And this comprises of two Hebrew letters, a shin and a hey. Now, Exodus 12 verse 3 says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house." Now, the word lamb in this scripture is the Hebrew word seh, right? And we see where a lamb was needed for the redemption of the people. A lamb was needed for each household for their deliverance. And so we understand that when it comes to Passover, the lamb, a young lamb, unblemished lamb, was chosen, killed. The blood was placed on the lintels and the doorpost, and this lamb was eaten as well. Now, my question is, the lamb that Abram told Isaac that God himself will provide, where is that lamb? Who does that lamb point to? Now, let's look at the Hebrew word seh. I mentioned that seh has two letters, the shin and the he. The shin speaks of transformation, speaks of fire, it speaks of purification. It teaches us to become aligned with the whole of creation. It speaks of building anew, a divine power, and it teaches us balance. Now, the he speaks to divine breath, to reveal, and it also speaks to the Spirit of God. Now, what can we learn from this Hebrew word seh? Now, seh is a Hebrew word for lamb. But here are some gems we can learn from the two Hebrew letters that spells this word seh. Now, the lamb was seen or was used as a means of purification, right, for the people. Now, the lamb speaks to the divine power. Now, when the lamb was killed, it meant that those who obeyed the instruction to get the lamb on the 10th of Nisan, examine it so that it remain unblemished, and then on the 14th day to kill it, these people, they were delivered from their sins. Remember, shin speaks to becoming or to become aligned with the whole creation. So it means, therefore, that if creation is waiting for the sons of God to manifest, we have to be delivered. Remember, friends, the children of Israel were given a promise that they would inherit the promised land, the land of Canaan. And so Without deliverance, without being redeemed, they would not have inherited this promise. Now, the very fact that God made this promise and he ensured that it happened, it meant that they were aligned to the whole creation. The Bible speaks of the land being fertile. And the moment the children of Israel went into the land, they lack no good thing. The land produced for them. Now, the Lamb also speaks to the divine breath. It speaks to revelation. So, what God was saying was that, guess what? This Lamb that you have chosen reveals my love to you. We will see where the Lamb who was killed for the sin of the world was Jesus. And this revealed the very fact that Jesus was sacrificed, revealed that he was the purification for the sins of man. Now, because of the Lamb, we are transformed. We have the opportunity. We can bask in the blessings of being transformed. Because without the Lamb, without the shedding of blood, there would be no remission of sins. Now, the two letters Shin and He gives us a value of 305. Shin gives a value of 300. He gives a value of 5. 305. But when we add these digits, 3 plus 0 plus 5, we get 8. And 8 speaks to offense, to obey, to be attached. So when we think of the lamb that was selected to be killed, it meant that when they killed this lamb, when they placed the blood on the lintels and the doorpost, they were secure, they were fenced in, they were protected. And they were protected because of their obedience. They now become attached to the keeper of promises. So everyone who was inside the house was attached to the covenant. Why? They obeyed the instructions of God. Now, Passover is mentioned in Leviticus 23, and the Lord said this is his feast. When it speaks about the feast of the Lord, it speaks to one that is proclaimed. An invitation is given to the crown of creation, to us man, to come and observe such feasts. Now, it means that our responsibility is to obey, to be attached to breathe after this divine breath that declared that these are my feast. Do you need purification? Are you in need of transformation? Do you desire balance in your life? Guess what? Observe the feast of Passover, because it is the Lord's feast and he wants to meet with us and do something new in us. Don't miss out. Shalom.